We now have an agent that loops and reasons well, thanks to React. But all that clever thinking is pointed at a set of actions, and so far in this whole series, those actions have been toys. A pretend getWeather function that returns a made-up number. Almost every tutorial does the same because a fake tool is easy to show. But it hides the entire point. An agent's real power and its real danger do not come from its reasoning. They come from the moment its tools stop being pretend and start touching live systems, your calendar, your database, a payment, a customer's record. Today, we get serious about tools. What a real tool actually is, how a plain API becomes one, what makes a tool good or bad for an agent, and the safety line you cross the instant your agent can change something in the world. Quick note before we dig in. What? If you find this useful, subscribe and drop a topic you want explained in the comments. Now, let us get into it. Here is the whole idea in one sentence. One sentence! An agent's tools are the real software functions and interfaces you allow it to call, each described to the model by a name, a plain language purpose, and a schema for its arguments so the model can pick one, fill in the inputs, and your code runs it against a live system before handing the result back. The mechanism is exactly the function calling from episode 12. What changes today is that the function on the other end is real. So how does an everyday API become an agent tool? Most real abilities already exist as application programming interfaces, the standard way one piece of software talks to another. A weather service, your company's customer database, a payment processor, a calendar, all of them already expose APIs. Turning one into an agent tool is mostly translation. You wrap that API in a function the model can request, and then you describe it in the language the model understands, a clear name, a sentence on what it does and when to use it, and a schema listing each argument and its type. That description is not paperwork. It is the entire interface the model reasons over. The model never sees your code. It only sees your description, which leads straight to the thing tutorials skip. A tool is only as good as its description, and designing good tools is a real skill. Think about how the model experiences it. If two tools have vague overlapping names, the model will pick the wrong one. If an argument is unclear, it will fill it in wrong. So the craft is to make tools the way you would make them for a smart new teammate who only has your written instructions. Give each tool one clear job, not a giant do-everything function with 20 optional settings. Name it for what it does. Describe exactly when to use it and when not to. And make the inputs obvious. A well-described, narrowly scoped tool is the difference between an agent that works and one that flails, no matter how good its reasoning is. Now the part that genuinely matters, the safety boundary, because this is where toy examples become dangerous in the real world. There is a world of difference between a tool that reads and a tool that writes. A tool that looks up the weather can, at worst, be wrong. A tool that sends an email, moves money, deletes a record, or changes a customer's order can cause real harm, and it cannot be undone by the model apologizing. So 3 rules are not optional here. First, the model only ever proposes. Your code decides whether to actually run the call. Second, you validate every argument before execution. Never blindly trust the values the model filled in. Check them like you would check input from any untrusted source. And third, anything consequential should require explicit permission, a human approving the action, or a hard rule that the agent simply cannot cross. The model brings judgment and language. Your infrastructure keeps the authority. Never hand an autonomous loop, a live, destructive tool with no checks in between. There is one more subtle thing worth naming, because it makes agents dramatically more capable. Error messages are tools too. When a tool call fails, the wrong worst move is to crash. The right move is to feed the error back to the model as just another observation. Remember React. The agent reads what came back and reasons about it. So if the agent calls an API with a bad date and the tool replies, "Error, date must be in the future," a good agent reads that, thinks, I used the wrong format, and tries again correctly. Your tools talking back in clear language is what lets an agent recover from its own mistakes instead of dying on the first stumble. So how does this land depending on who you are? As an individual, you meet this through products that connect an assistant to your real accounts, your email, your files, your calendar, and the quality you feel, whether it does the right thing or fumbles, comes mostly from how well those tools were designed and guarded behind the scenes. As a startup, your real moat is often not the model at all. It is your tools, the thoughtfully designed, safe set of actions you expose because anyone can call the same model. But a clean tool set, wired carefully to your product, is what makes your agent actually useful. And as a large enterprise, this is the whole ballgame. Every tool an agent touches has to be permissioned, validated, logged, and reversible where possible. Because an agent reaching into core banking or health systems is only ever as safe as the boundary you built around its tools. So let us bring it home. An agent's abilities are its tools, real functions and APIs wrapped and described so the model can choose and call them, and the craft is in clear, narrow tool design, strict validation and permissions on anything that writes, and feeding errors back so the agent can recover. Reasoning is the brain, but tools are the hands, and the hands are where both the value and the risk live. But notice the problem we have quietly created. Every one of these tools had to be built and wired in by hand, one at a time, for every agent. That does not scale. What if there were a universal standard, so any tool or data source could be plugged into any AI with no custom wiring at all? There is. It is one of the most important developments in the whole field right now, and it is exactly where we go next. That is the core of it. If this helped, hit like and subscribe, ring the bell for the next deep dive, and tell me in the comments what you want broken down next. Thanks for watching.